The grand hall of House Cathra gleamed with bioluminescent crystals, each one pulsing in rhythm with the planet's twin moons. Princess Araviel Cathra stood at the center of the polished obsidian floor, her forearms crossed in a gesture that had become all too familiar over the past 3 cycles. Disappointment. Another prince had failed. Prince Theron of the Crystalline Reach had seemed promising. His military record was impeccable, his lineage traced back 7 generations of warrior kings. He had answered every question correctly, demonstrated perfect form in the ceremonial duel, and recited the litany of unity without a single error. By every measurable standard, he was ideal, and yet Araviel had seen it. The same thing she had seen in all 47 suitors before him. When she had dropped her ceremonial ring and watched it roll across the floor, Theron had stood perfectly still, waiting for a servant to retrieve it. He hadn't even glanced at it. The test of worthiness is concluded, Araviel announced, her voice echoing through the chamber. Prince Theron, you have my gratitude for your time, but you are not the one I seek. The prince's silver skin flushed dark with indignation. Your Highness, I demand to know what fault you found in me. I have passed every trial set before me. You passed every trial, Araviel agreed quietly, but you failed the only test that mattered. As royal guards escorted the furious prince from the hall, Araviel's father, Emperor Cathra, descended from his observation throne. His ancient face was carved with concern. Daughter, the council grows restless. You have rejected every eligible noble in 3 sectors. The bonding ceremony must take place before the alignment, or our treaty with the outer provinces will collapse. Then the treaty will collapse, Araviel said, her violet eyes flashing. I will not bind my life to someone who sees worth only in titles and blood. What are you searching for that you cannot find in the finest the galaxy has to offer? Araviel turned toward the great windows overlooking the palace gardens. Someone who understands that power means nothing without compassion. Someone who acts without expecting reward. Someone real. The Emperor sighed, a sound like wind through crystal chimes. You ask for the impossible, child. Such creatures exist only in old stories. As her father left, Araviel remained alone in the vast hall. The sun was setting, painting the crystalline walls in shades of amber and rose. She closed her eyes, wondering if perhaps her father was right. Perhaps she was chasing a fantasy. A soft sound made her open her eyes, the whisper of a cleaning cloth against stone. At the far end of the hall, barely visible in the lengthening shadows, a figure moved quietly between the columns. He was small by her species standards, wearing the simple gray uniform of palace maintenance staff. Human, she realized. One of the few from that distant world who had taken work off-world. Eli Ward had been cleaning the Grand Hall every evening for 2 years, and he had perfected the art of being invisible. Keep your head down, do your work, stay out of royal business. That was the key to survival in a place like this. He had learned that lesson hard on Earth, and it served him just as well among the stars. He noticed the ring immediately, gleaming near one of the pillars where it had rolled. A royal ring by the looks of it, probably worth more than he would make in 10 lifetimes. He glanced toward the princess, still standing by the windows, her back turned. Eli could have alerted a guard. That would have been proper protocol. But something about the slump of her shoulders, the weariness in her posture, made him pause. She looked tired. More than tired, defeated. He picked up the ring, turned it over in his calloused hands. It was beautiful, inscribed with words he couldn't read. Without thinking too much about it, he crossed the hall, his footsteps soft on the obsidian floor. Excuse me, Your Highness? His voice was quiet, respectful, but not servile. Araviel turned, startled to find the human janitor standing there, the ring balanced on his outstretched palm. I think you dropped this, Eli said simply. For a long moment, Araviel stared at him, then at the ring, then back at him. You picked it up, she said slowly. Eli looked confused. Well, yeah, it's yours, isn't it? Seemed wrong to just leave it on the floor. Did you not think a servant should retrieve it, or that I might summon a guard? Now Eli looked genuinely puzzled. I mean, I am a servant, kind of. And you seemed like you had a rough day. Figured I'd save you the trouble. He offered a small, sympathetic smile. For what it's worth, I heard some of the guards talking. They said that last guy was a real piece of work. You're better off. Araviel took the ring from his hand, her fingers brushing his briefly. She noticed the calluses, the burn scars, the evidence of years of hard work. She noticed how he met her eyes, not with fear or ambition, but with simple, genuine kindness. "What is your name?" she asked. "Eli Ward, Your Highness." "I know what you do, Eli Ward." She studied him with new intensity. "Tell me, if you were choosing a life partner, what would matter most to you?" Eli blinked at the unexpected question. He thought for a moment, then shrugged. "Someone who treats people right, I guess. Doesn't matter if you're talking to a king or a janitor. If you're decent to both, that says something. Someone who does the right thing even when nobody's watching." He smiled self-consciously. "Sorry, that probably sounds simple." "No," Araviel said softly, a strange light kindling in her violet eyes. "It sounds like wisdom." She turned the ring over in her hands, then looked back at the human before her. An idea was forming, insane, impossible, and yet, "Eli Ward, how would you like to help me with something?" "Sure, I guess. What do you need?" Araviel smiled for the first time in 3 cycles. "I need you to take a test." 3 hours later, the Imperial Council chamber erupted in chaos. "A human?" Council Prime Varix's voice shook the very walls. "You chose a janitor?" "I chose someone who passed my test," Araviel said calmly, standing beside a very confused but remarkably composed Eli Ward. "Someone who showed compassion without expectation. Someone who saw a person in need and acted. He has no title, no lands, no military distinction. He has character," Araviel replied, "which is more than I can say for the 47 nobles who left that ring lying on the floor, waiting for someone beneath them to pick it up." Emperor Cathra leaned forward on his throne, studying the human carefully. Then, unexpectedly, he began to laugh. A deep rumbling sound that silenced the council. "Brilliant," he said. "Absolutely brilliant. You used the oldest test in the Book of Monarchs, the test of the fallen crown. I wondered if you even remembered that ancient tradition." He looked at Eli with new respect. "Young human, do you understand what my daughter is proposing?" Eli, who had been trying very hard not to panic for the last 3 hours, swallowed hard. "I think she's asking me to be her consort, which is insane, by the way. I clean floors. You saw someone who needed help and you helped them," the Emperor said. Without hesitation, without calculation. "That is not the action of someone who merely cleans floors. That is the action of someone who understands what it means to serve others, which is the foundation of all true leadership." He stood, his robes flowing like liquid starlight. "The council will accept this match, or they will answer to me. My daughter has chosen wisely, and I support her decision." Araviel turned to Eli, who still looked somewhat shell-shocked. "I should have asked you first," she admitted. "This is unfair to you. If you want to refuse, I will understand. You would return to your duties with my gratitude and a generous—" "I didn't say no," Eli interrupted quietly. Then louder, "I mean, this is crazy. Completely crazy. I'm nobody special, but—" He met her eyes. "You asked me what matters in a partner. You listened like my answer meant something. That's more respect than I've gotten in a long time." He took a deep breath. "So yeah, I'm in. If you'll have me." Araviel's face broke into a radiant smile. She took his hand in 2 of hers, the gesture both alien and somehow perfectly natural. "Then let us begin. Eli Ward. Together we will show them that worth is not measured in bloodlines, but in the choices we make when no one is watching." Behind them, the council continued to argue, but neither Araviel nor Eli paid them any mind. They had found something far more valuable than approval. They had found each other in the most unlikely of places, and sometimes that's where the best stories begin.